Maxwell 20, and then 27, James Pierce.
That's a good pick for them. It really is a good pick for them. I really for that for the draft because I would be interested to see and I have to dive in on film more. The James Pierce or Michael Williams. I really want I want to watch some more film. I need to dive into that more. If both
Michael's definitely more of a fit. He's what they wanted at edge rusher.
Yeah, he is.
Get to the quarterback. Michael's probably a better all-around player, but getting to the quarterback, James Pierce is better at.
Yeah,
I'm thinking the Michael. If you trade up to 15,
I think James Pierce has a higher upside, but I think Michael has a better floor. And
safer pick.
Yeah, but it's I don't want it to sound like he's I don't want that to sound disrespectful. I think Michael can still be really good, but I think James could really pop, or you take a risk, maybe not. I don't know.
Something about Michael the last 48 hours.
We're sitting at pick 28, Boone. Shamar Stewart and Michael Williams are there. Who are you taking?
Michael Williams.
Okay.
Dude, again, I think, it's just I've been seeing more about it on online over the last 48 hours. Michael, I think Michael potentially it could be all said and done the second best edge rusher in this class. When it comes to careers.
I like that.
No one's talking about Michael though. That's why when I saw it a couple days ago, I'm watching and I'm like, how is this kid not getting talked about more? Especially to Detroit. This is a kid that Brad would be all in on. I wonder if they've met with him. They went to the Bama or
Georgia.
The Georgia. Did they? No, I'm thinking something else. SEC. Did they have an SEC pro day or is that just the Big 12?
That's just the Big 12 because the Big 12 schools don't have individual pro days.
So I'm wondering where Brad would have gone and seen him.
I mean,
top 30 visit, maybe
they have scouts there, man. If they had a lot of guys at Buffalo's pro day, they
even at the combine, I didn't see his name pop up, which is kind of weird. I feel like that's a guy Brad would be I want to meet with.
It's those damn Georgia players, man. They can't. I mean, just don't get behind the wheel when you drink. Except for Michael, he's been solid.
I mean, not even drink. I mean, they just have a Fast and Furious situation going on in Georgia right now. I don't know what's happening there. I mean, what's his name? The head coach there. He needs to figure this thing out.
And the ironic part is, when I lived out in Georgia, everyone drove slower. So I don't know where this. Everyone was chill. They drive southern.
You're giving 18, 19, 20-year-old kids Beamers, Rolls Royces.
They're actually nice down there. Hey, from Michigan to Georgia, they just go at their own pace. They let you in.
Boys, can we just? I want to do some investigating. I want to figure out if the Lions at all have spoken with Michael Williams. I'm trying to think. I would love to know.
We'll find out.
He feels like a guy Dan would say, or Brad would be like, "I'm going to 15 for him."
Yeah, you never know. He's a guy. If they love him, they'll go get him. Well, let's see who they got. They didn't have to move up in this one.
Shifgott said they probably haven't. That's disappointing because Derrick
Harmon, defensive tackle out of Oregon, goes to the Lions. And Field Yates puts in here that it has a little bit to do with Aleem McNeil. And he mentions how his 34 pressures in his lone year with the Ducks was by far the most of any FBS defensive tackle. He's got the length, the power, and the point of attack and pursuit speed as a rusher to make a difference. I really like Derrick Harmon. I do. I really like Derrick Harmon. He's going to go around this pick anyway. So if I'm being real, maybe I'm not jumping up and down saying I love this. They got the best player in the draft, but I think Derrick Harmon will be a pretty good pro. I think this is if they like him, I can see exactly why. I talked about it when I drafted him. I drafted him a couple times. I drafted him at 40, 50 in the mock. Obviously, mocks are all over the place. I get it. But when I drafted him, the thing I mentioned is, especially in pass rush sets as a defensive tackle, I mean, he mentions the pressures, but he gets after the quarterback, man. Derrick Harmon's not just some big, big for nothing. The BFN. He's not big for nothing. He's big and he makes plays.
I would like to say something.
What would you like to say?
I'm out on this pick.
I'm with you, Boone.
Kenneth Grant's on the board, and you went Derrick Harmon.
No, Kenneth Grant's not picked yet.
Kenneth Grant is on the board.
I would be okay
Derrick
for that.
Harmon.
Dude, that's insane.
Jahad Campbell.
He has
Also.
Jahad Campbell after as well. I think Jahad and Kenneth Grant, I think you're looking at both of them. I like Derrick Harmon. Listen, and Jeff, everything you said, agreed. Like, I think he instantly would come in, and especially with the Leam out, like, you have a guy that can come in and help you out, and you can, it's an instant impact. Boom, boom. I'm higher on a Kenneth Grant than I am a Derrick Harmon.
Yeah, I get that.
Where it's like, if Kenneth Grant and Derrick Harmon on the board, all of the top edges are off, which is right now kind of the case, unless you wanted to trade back. But if you're like, you have to stay and pick at 28, all of those guys are off the board. I would run so fast. You know those videos of Brad and them banging the table, hitting each other in the chest? Like, if this happens and we're wherever we're at for the draft, I'm going to tackle one of you guys. Like, and Kenneth Grant's just sitting there at 28, and you're like,
Izaraku.
Here we go, boys. Izaraku. Oh, wait a second. Izaraku's not drafted yet?
No.
That's number one then. There's no way you don't take Izaraku. That's my guy.
Mike Green was.
This is a weird draft.
I don't like it.
Yeah,
and again, you can move back. Like, honestly,
you're taking Donovan here.
Like, I know that he's not trading back; he's keeping the selections. But trade back, get value in the second round, and take Tyleik Williams or TJ Sanders in the second round. Like, there's guys that you can get in the
Derrick
second round.
Harmon,
Add value.
He's going to be better than those players.
But all right, but
Klotz,
Donovan Izaraku is sitting on the board here.
Yeah, I'm saying yes,
Kenneth Grant,
1,000%. Realistically,
both of them. Oh
yeah,
my gosh, what is
Kenneth
he doing?
Grant's like my number one player for this draft. I think he can walk away as the second or third best defensive lineman, interior and exterior included, career wise. But I'm saying, like, I don't think those guys will be there. If they are, you're completely right. But I'm not saying that Harmon won't be like those guys. But when you're talking about, do you really need a defensive tackle like that badly, or you can add value and get someone that's like near that tier? Like, Tyleik Williams is very good. TJ Sanders is very good out of South Carolina. Harmon's a better prospect, absolutely. But I think if you take any of those guys, they're going to succeed for the Lions.
I'm with Klotz. I do think there's defensive tackle, but like, again, if the guys that are currently on the board are on the board and you go Derrick Harmon, I don't want to be one of those guys where it's like you're questioning Brad Holmes, but Donovan Izaraku, you're running to the board and you're saying, boom, give us Donovan. And if he's not on the board and Kenneth Grant's sitting there, give me Kenneth Grant. And then it's like the Derrick Harmon, but I'm leaning towards Klotz to where if those two guys are off the board and Derrick Harmon's sitting there, I would trade back and maybe get some assets, and then maybe he's still on the board. Like, there's a chance that he falls to the second.
He won't.
The's a chance.
I can live with that though.
But I know, and maybe I'm planting my flag because I really think Derrick Harmon's going to be a really good player, dude.
But he's not going to be like Walter Nolan. Like, he's not going to be Walter
Nolan.
I don't think
the difference. Go on.
Go on.
No, go on. You can finish.
I think when I think of Derrick Harmon, he's a late first round guy, going to be in the first like couple picks in the second round. But then I think there's a tier of guys that are like clear middle of the second round guys. And if you're passing up on a more position of need or a more talented player for Derrick Harmon, like, you should have just traded back. Like, if Walter Nolan's on the board here, I'm like, perfect. Because I think there's like just there's a tenacity to Walter Nolan's game. He was able to get 4 sacks at Texas A&M, the school he can't get sacks at, then goes to Ole Miss and puts up 7 sacks. So Walter Nolan's able to do that. So I think there's a difference between him and Derrick Harmon.
What a comment, man.
Yeah, the school.
What a school can't get sacks. It's because he's a D tackle. D tackles get more sacks than edge rushers.
Yep.
Yeah, but
he was there with Shamar Stewart, by the way, too.
I know, but can we just
34 pressure, 43?
We don't need to go down this.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the fact that, and I love Field Yates, does a great job breaking things down. This and maybe honestly, and maybe this is one of those moments, boys. And I know over the last few years covering the draft and doing content during the draft, you realize it very quick to where guys you think go in the first round go to the second, guys you think are in the second go in the first, or a guy like Field Yates. Typically, he's having conversations maybe with GMs and different agents and things like that. Maybe he has a better feel for what's going on. But again, if you're sitting there going, you're the Detroit Lions, and Donovan Izaraku is on the board at 28, and Kenneth Grant and Derrick Harmon. If you ranked those 1 to 3,
Campbell.
and Jahad Campbell. But if you rank those guys 1 to 3, I think almost in every single Detroit Lions fan, whoever covers the team, I would even say most national media people would probably go Donovan Izaraku, Kenneth Grant, Derrick Harmon. And I think that's a fact. Like, I don't think there's a world you can make an argument where Derrick Harmon's above those two guys.
I know. I'm just looking 6'5".
You like him?
No one's saying he won't be good.
No.
Good.
I'm saying where
is he better than Donovan Izaraku and Kenneth Grant?
I will say this. Kenneth Grant, Kenneth Grant's an excellent player. But what you guys are saying, and where I'm not saying you're saying this, but this is what I'm saying. I don't think the drop-off's that big, if I'm being honest. I don't. No, I don't. Derrick Harmon, dude, 6'5", 310.
I'll do my homework.
He's a pass rush. He can get to the quarterback. He's really good against the run. I mean, dude, 6'5", 310 guys that can move like that don't grow on trees. All right.
Hold on, but we're talking about Kenneth Grant here. We're not talking about Walter Nolan.
I would still. You know what? To be fair,
there's a gap. It goes, in my opinion, Mason Graham.
Yes.
It's Kenneth Grant.
Yes.
Gap, Walter Nolan, Derrick Harmon, the rest. Kenneth Grant's surefire.
Now, this is where we're going to debate. What's gap?
Gap is like there's a significant. I would probably say we're talking about when I look at the All-Pro guys at the defensive line as far as interior. I'm looking at Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant.
59 Xavier Watts from Notre Dame. 60 Tate Ratledge, guard for the Lions out of Georgia. That's who they take. Tate Ratledge. Yeah,
I honestly like this pick at 60 more than I like Derrick Harmon at 28 because they have to give both Graham Glasgow and Christian Mahogany like legitimate competition. Like, hey, if you don't perform in camp, you're not going to start. I think if you walk in with Mahogany and Graham Glasgow, and again, it can happen, especially with Brad Holmes, with like another 6th-round rookie. Like, I think that's a different mindset than, hey, we just got a guy out of Georgia who's an All-American type of player, was on national championship teams, and we took him at 60. So we're not just going to waste this pick. Graham, you got to pick it up. Christian, you got to prove that you can do this consistently because it's so important for this run game and protecting Jared Goff. And again, you're going to get cheaper if you get a good guard here at 60.
Yeah, Dan did bring up again. This was Dan showing some of the hand of the draft, but Dan brings up and goes, "Yeah, we're going to look for someone to come in and compete." Even like he mentioned like a draft pick, like he was like someone we bring in through the draft. He was like, we're going to get a guy in here to compete. So that was where it was like, class. Remember the other day we're like, yep, they're going to get someone. I don't know how I feel like defensive tackle and guard. Like I maybe it's just me. Like I want a guaranteed edge in the first 2 rounds. I want someone to cross from hunch. I know.
Hey, what's going on there? It's Jeff Iafrate. Appreciate you for finishing the video. You can check out one of the videos here suggested or show support by commenting, liking, and subscribing. And buy your merchandise, officialctsports.com.